you already got hit with an arrow, right? You got hit with the first arrow. Don't hit yourself with another arrow. Don't contribute to your suffering by, judging yourself and being mean to yourself and creating narratives that are unhelpful.
Welcome to the Injured Athletes Club podcast, the show that helps athletes cope with sports injuries and bounce back stronger. I'm journalist Cindy Kuzma.
And I'm mental skills coach Carrie Jackson. We're sorry you're here, but we're glad you are with us.
We're closing in on the end of season 9 of the Injured Athletes Club podcast. Carrie, can you believe we've been doing this show now for 7.5 years?
It's amazing.
I know. It's been so great. And this week we are revisiting some of Coach Carrie's most memorable pieces of advice from our listener Q&As this season. These are the things that she's shared that have totally stuck with me and that we hope will stick with you too as we head into our break. But before we get to that, I wanted to share a huge thank you to our exclusive sponsor for this season, Lever Movement, creators of the Lever System. The Lever System is a portable, lightweight device that attaches to a treadmill to reduce your body weight. That means less impact on your joints, so you can come back from injuries safely, or even prevent getting hurt in the first place. You can use it at home or take it to the gym and set it up in less than 2 minutes. Use code INJURED20 to get 20% off any device. Check out Lever today and take your training to the next level. We have truly appreciated their support this season and hope that you all will check that out if that is something that is of interest to you as a runner and an athlete.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Lever. And also, we want to send a really huge shout out and thank you to all of our guests that we have interviewed this season. We really appreciate all of you coming on the podcast and sharing your stories. And we know how much our listeners have appreciated you sharing them with the podcast. So thank you so much. We learned so much from you. And we do truly hope our listeners did too. And speaking of our listeners, we are very grateful to all of you. Thank you for tuning into the show. It means so much to us. And it's such an important thing that we do, it means so much to us to share these stories with you and hope that you get as much out of it as we do. And we also love getting the Q&As. And so we really appreciate all of you listeners out there. And if you are loving the podcast, we hope that you're sharing it with your networks as well so that we can reach out to as many injured athletes as possible. So thank you so much for tuning in for all of these seasons, but especially season 9.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Carrie. And Carrie, it's fun to do this episode today because, fun fact, we're actually here in Chicago together this time, podcasting from the same place. We normally are miles apart. You're on the West Coast. I'm here in the Midwest, but we are here in the same city doing some planning for the future.
That's right.
And we're going to tell you all a little bit more about that in a minute, maybe do our own little kind of state of the Injured Athletes Club. But I want to just make sure that I express, in all these thank yous we've been doing, Carrie, I want to say thank you to you for all of the wisdom that you have shared this season. I learned so much from working with you. I've learned so much from you working with you these whole 7.5 years or 8 years or however long we've been doing all of this together. But this season, there have just been a few clips that I just cannot get out of my mind that are so helpful to me when I'm dealing with injury or when I'm dealing with any other challenges in life. So I think, as part of a send off for the season and a way to express my gratitude to you and to just amplify these messages a little more, what I thought we could do today is I could replay the clips that I know I'll have on repeat for the rest of the year. And then you could say just a little bit more about what they mean to you and how the rest of our listeners can carry them forward too. How does that sound, Carrie?
That sounds good. I'm nervous. Isn't that funny? They're my words, but I'm still nervous. I can't wait to hear what you pick.
That's so funny. Don't be nervous. I promise. Okay. They're all great. They're all great. Okay. So the first clip I'm going to play for you is from episode 168. And this was a question from an athlete who was coming back to her sport after a long break. And you were talking a little bit about self-talk. And I'm going to play that clip for you now and hear what you think, thinking back on it.
Pay attention to the stories you are telling yourself about your performance as you go onto and come off of the ice. At times, you may think there is only one story to tell, but the truth is there are many stories that we could choose to tell about our experiences. And the story you choose to tell is important because it impacts your feelings of motivation, of self-belief, of confidence. It affects everything, the stories we create. And your brain believes you when you are talking to it. So make sure you're telling it something worth believing in. That actually speaks. See, now I'm not nervous again. Because it does speak to me on a few different things. Actually, I said there, the reason why I feel like that message is so important is, the way our brain does listen. Like, it's really important to be thoughtful about the stories that we tell, right? And that it's so easy for us to get hooked into a specific narrative and think that that's the only story that is there, or that's the story that we're buying into, when really, oftentimes there's definitely more than one way to tell the story about what is happening to you. So it is important to kind of poke holes in the theories that we've created in our mind and really think about the narrative that we're choosing to use when we are thinking back on or even explaining to someone else a scenario or a situation, and to really honor the fact that our brain is listening. And so what is it that you want your brain to hear? Like, and we're just so good at beating ourselves up and, being our biggest critics, that you really do have to practice being your own biggest cheerleader. It's funny, it reminds me of a friend of mine just sent me a reel, an Instagram reel, and it's this little girl that's going to climb this climb, and I can't remember where it was, but it's a really tall climb, and she's with her dad, and it shows her climbing, and they had her mic'd up as she was doing the climb, and she's just encouraging herself the entire time. Which is why my friend sent it to me, and I loved it so much that she just was like, the whole time you can do this. And your brain's hearing that when you're doing something challenging. So that one, I like that. I approve of your first choice, Cindy.
That's great. Yeah. I think it just goes to show, we can all do a little self-coaching in those tough moments, yes. And it's really helpful. And I think, if you send me that reel, we'll put it in the show notes so people can hear how it's done from a young expert. Great. Well, the second clip I want to play for you, Coach Carrie, is something that you and I have been talking about a lot this season for, reasons. This was a question that we got from an athlete who is aging, as we all are. So this is about embracing change as a master's athlete.
Sometimes comparison is answering the wrong question. Instead of seeking out comparison, you need to seek out clarity. So comparison answers the question, where do I stand? And clarity answers the question, what do I need? Right? So that really makes sure that you are honoring the present moment, right? And recognizing, what do I need in this moment right now? Yes, we have been talking about that. I really, I was actually quite proud of myself when I came up with that idea.
As you should be.
And I like it. And it's so true. And we all engage in comparison, right? Myself included. And so it's really normal to do that. So it's absolutely a topic I've talked about a lot, and both social comparison and temporal comparison, right? Social comparison is we're comparing to others, and temporal is we're comparing what's happening now to maybe something that happened in the past, or a version of ourselves now to a past version. So it came to the idea came to me when I was I was doing a webinar for this incredible cycling coaching group I work with called Basecamp. And we were doing a webinar on this topic. And as I was thinking about it, that's when it sort of struck me oh, wait a minute. Okay. So sometimes when we're comparing, that's not what you actually want, right? Our ego wants it, our athlete ego. And when I say athlete ego, that's not a bad thing. Your athlete ego is the thing that gets you to train and to want to get through your injury and to go to your rehab. It's not a bad thing, but sometimes sometimes it gets in the way. So, the athlete ego always is going to want to engage in comparison, and really comparison isn't always a negative thing. It just depends on how we are using it. And that, oftentimes instead of using the feelings we get from comparing as information to go, oh, okay, that's interesting that I'm having this emotional reaction. What does that say? And what do I want to do with this? We don't use it that way, or oh, that person has something that's attractive to me. What could I do to maybe figure out how to do that for myself? Instead, we use it as right, a measuring stick of all our shortcomings. And, I mean, oh my God, this topic we probably should do a whole episode on comparison because it's so huge. And like, why do we do it? And that it's not always bad, but as I was thinking about it, I realized, oh, sometimes that's not actually what you think that you're trying to answer a question by engaging in comparison, but it's the wrong question, right? Because it like looks at, well, how do I stack up, right? Like, where do I stand instead of like, what do I need right now? And especially when, with that topic in particular, when there's things that are changing and in flux and evolving, and we don't always recognize that's why that idea of, clarity versus over comparison is so important. Is that we're just, like, oh, that's not the appropriate thing to be looking at right now. What I really need to look at is who am I in this moment? What's happening in this moment? And what do I need in this moment?
Yeah. It reminds me too of like something that you can turn to. And, you always talk about, like a oldie but goodie, like a tried and true mental drill that I go back to a lot is like feel and focus. Like I'm feeling this way because I'm focusing on this. I'm feeling less than because I'm focusing on the comparison to who I used to be or to what other athletes are doing. Whereas I want to feel, confident and also clear on my next steps. So I'm going to focus on that clarity. I'm going to focus on actually getting answers to what I need to be doing. And so it's just like a really helpful mindset shift and a great way of putting it. So thank you, Carrie.
My pleasure.
All right. I have one last one for you. And this is from an episode. Gosh, this Q&A was really tough. This was a collegiate athlete who had really been through a lot and her injury had like affected so much in her life. And you were sharing something that you have used a lot in your life. And as always, I'm grateful to you for sharing it with us. So I'm going to share it again here with you and see what you have to say about it.
The first arrow is the event itself, right? Like getting injured. And the second arrow is the story we tell ourselves about getting struck by the first arrow. The second arrow is an arrow that we actually shoot at ourselves. The second arrow comes when the mind starts getting involved and starts engaging in comparison or judging or catastrophizing. And it's the second arrow that prolongs the emotional suffering that we're going through. So Buddha's lesson, right, in all of this is that the second arrow leads to unnecessary suffering. So you cannot control what happens to you, but you can choose your response to it. This is so great. Yeah. So no second arrows is definitely something that speaks very, like I can feel it in my heart just as I say it out loud, where it's like, don't contribute unnecessary suffering to what's happening. And it's definitely, and a lot of us do it and don't even recognize that we're doing it. Right. So again, that kind of plays into the stories that we're telling ourselves about, an injustice or like, so here, I'm going to use, I'm going to use an example of our amazing time here in Chicago. So we've been having so much fun and doing incredible work. And so was it Saturday night? Mm-hmm. We were going to bed and like, we had a great day of all kinds of fun stuff. And we're like, all right, so Sunday we're going to like get to work and we're going to get stuff done. And so I go to my, like, man, Matt and Cindy have been amazing. Like I have my own room and my own bath. Like it's just, they're incredible hosts and it's been so wonderful to be here. So I go to my room and I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm going to get a great night's sleep so that we can get to work and hit the ground running. And there's an awesome, fun party happening next door. Now I realize maybe what I should have done is just go join the party, right? Like I should have really accepted what was happening. So I get to the room and I'm like, no, what am I going to do? I can't sleep. I need to sleep. And I pretty quickly, and I was fighting against the reality of what's happening. And I very luckily quickly realized, like, you don't shoot yourself with a second arrow. Like, this is happening. They're having a great time. You're not going to be able to sleep. So instead of being here, like thinking, creating a narrative about it and creating it like, this is so unjust. And how could you do this to me? They're not doing anything to me. They're having fun. Like they're enjoying themselves. And so I was like, all right, well, so what, this is out of your control, but what's still in your control? What can you do? So so it's like, it's just so important to recognize when you are the one shooting the second arrow, so that life is hard enough as it is. Like, especially thinking about all of you out there that are injured, like you already got hit with an arrow, right? You got hit with the first arrow. Don't hit yourself with another arrow. Don't contribute to your suffering by, judging yourself and being mean to yourself and creating narratives that are unhelpful. So yeah, I love that you picked that one. That was good. Oh my God. Yeah, I approve of all three.
Well, I mean, that one is like just especially meaningful to me right now, just in, situations that we've all been going through. And it means a lot to think like, okay, it just provides a little bit more clarity, and it helps provide us the brain space to really show up in a resilient way for challenges that we may be facing personally, challenges that we may be facing as a society. I think it's just such a helpful way to think about it. So Coach Carrie, I am grateful for all of your wisdom this season, but especially those 3 pieces of advice. I know, again, now I have a whole episode. They're all in one episode. I did this for me, so I could just replay them all in one episode. But I hope it is useful for all of those of you out there who are going through some things right now too. So we wanted to do that. And then we also wanted to share a little update on some of the work that we have been doing here in Chicago. We don't have all of the answers yet, but we just want to share where we're at right now with the Injured Athletes Club with all of you great listeners and members out there.
Yeah, so we're closing out, as Cindy said earlier, we are closing out season 9 of the Injured Athletes Club podcast and 7.5 years of podcasting. And it's been so incredible to be able to continue to bring athlete stories to you and answer your questions. And I can't even believe that we've been doing it this long, but it's been really incredible to serve this community and hear your stories and have you reach out to and tell us how meaningful it is to get to hear some of the stories and when we've answered your question, so we just wanted to share a few things as we're closing out season 9 and thinking about season 10. So, we're grateful for so many things. Most importantly, all of you, our listeners, and all of the injured athletes out there, and also all the practitioners that are listening and serving injured athletes. We really greatly appreciate all of you for the work that you do on behalf of injured athletes, because we know how challenging it can be sometimes to find someone that gets it, right? Like a physical therapist, athletic trainer, a surgeon, somebody that really understands this part of it. So thank you for being a part of this community as well. All the sponsors we've had, thank you so much, including Lever Movement, our official sponsor for the season. And of course, a very big thank you to Jeremy Nessel for editing all of our podcasts and dealing with, there's so many things you guys don't hear because we have such a great, so thank you, Jeremy, for editing. I'm squeaking in the chair. I'm not used to this chair and I've been squeaking. You're not going to hear that because it's probably going to get edited out. Thank you, Jeremy. And then also a big thank you to Emma Coomer for all of our incredible graphics for the Injured Athletes Club. We're really grateful to both of you. And so now we do want to kind of do a state of our union of Cindy and I, like a state of the Injured Athletes Club, and kind of share some thoughts as we're here together. We've been having such a great time really thinking, being thoughtful about okay, what do we want to do next? And how do we want to serve this community? And super excited about the direction we're headed. And we're still figuring stuff out, but we wanted to share some of that here with you.
Right. And the first and most important thing is that we are not planning to go anywhere. We are planning season 10. We are planning to stick around in the Injured Athletes Club Facebook group and all the other work that we do. But we are going to spend the off season thinking and strategizing about how we can best support you. And by you, we mean the injured athletes out there, the practitioners, anyone who's listening. We really want to make sure that we are doing what we can to serve you in the best possible way. So we want to hear from you about what you'd like from this community. And we're going to have some a little bit more of a formal outreach on that. So keep your eyes and ears on this podcast feed, on your email if you're on our mailing list at the Injured Athletes Club. If not, now is a great time to sign up because we will continue sending newsletters in the off season as well as some updates about what's coming next. And also we'll keep your eyes on the Facebook support group too, for both all the support that you already get there and maybe some more opportunities to answer specific questions that we might have for you as we plan what's next.
Yes, absolutely. And you can also email us anytime at hello at injuredathletesclub.com. We do monitor our email inbox, even if it might take a couple days for us to get back to you. We absolutely will. And we read every single email that comes in. So if you have any questions or you have any ideas or anything at all, definitely feel free to reach out to us there. And you're still going to see us on social media, including our support group, our Instagram, so if you haven't joined, if you haven't followed us on Instagram or you haven't joined our support group on Facebook, I really highly recommend both of those. I mean, not only is it a great way to stay up to date on what's happening with the Injured Athletes Club, and we'll be having some announcements in both those places, but it's really a great way to stay connected too, because as we all know, one of the biggest challenges of being an injured athlete is sometimes feeling like you're alone and feeling isolated. And one thing you immediately feel when you are a part of that group is that you are not alone. So if you haven't checked it out, please come join us in both of those places.
Right. And I feel like we've been a little coy about what's coming next too, because again, we are still figuring some things out. But what we do want to share is that what we are hoping to build is even more ways for you all to connect to each other, as well as more ways to get access to expert advice. But we know how important it is to hold space for the challenges that you're going through and that we've all been through before, so that whatever the Injured Athletes Club looks like in the future, you can trust that that community and connection is going to be at the heart of it. We hope to come up with some even bigger and better ways for you to experience that. But that is always the heart of what we're doing. So you can get links to everything we've mentioned in this episode, to previous episodes of the podcast, to that very fantastic Facebook support group, the Injured Athletes Club, to the mailing list, to some other great resources we have for you. All of that links are available on our website at injuredathletesclub.com. So until we are back for the next season, we will see you there. Thanks again.